Aloha, everybody. Welcome back to the Dead Draw Gaming channel. I am Etchy, and joining me is the one and only Gabriel Smart. Gabe, we are in Honolulu, Hawaii. We are preparing for the World Championships. It is in, let's see,
less than
48 hours right now. Why don't you talk about kind of your process over the since last time we talked, which was at the Chicago boot camp thing. How's the process been from there to here?
Pretty much just kind of like slowly ramping up. I got to Honolulu on Saturday, kind of just been doing like some vacation stuff. However, it is Tuesday night right now, so
it's Wednesday night.
It's Wednesday night, yeah. See, exactly. I'm on vacation right now. I don't even know what day it is.
Yep.
Yeah. So I got the World Championships, coming up. Trying to figure out exactly what I want to play. There doesn't really seem to be, I guess, a clear-cut strongest deck in the format. So testing has been, I would say, a little bit unproductive. I've been talking to a lot of the, I guess, like other major testing groups, and it seems kind of like what everyone is like, pretty much where like the people are is like Reggie Drago is the strongest deck. However, it's probably going to be the most targeted decks, and it has, I think, a decent amount of flaws. I think it does have some, kind of consistency problems at times. Doesn't really set up. So it really doesn't seem like there's a tier S deck at the moment. I feel like in formats, kind of in the past, there's always been a deck that like is a safe pick. And I think at the moment right now, we haven't been able to find a deck that's considered safe. So yeah, I'm still not 100% sure exactly what I'm going to play. The past few tournaments, I've had a pretty good idea. A couple of days leading up to the event, but this one is really, I'm not 100% sure. I got like the comfort pick, and the deck I think is, potentially the strongest play, and I'm kind of trying to, fight with that as of right now and see, okay, which one, is the one I'm going to end up with. So.
What are the factors you're trying to evaluate when making this decision?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I think that's the big thing, for the World Championships is pretty much everyone knows what they're doing, right? And it's like, am I comfortable, playing in a tournament like with a deck that 50-50s everything? That's something that I'm not 100% sure on. Do I want to play a deck that can, pretty much lower the skill gap and, I can take down, pretty much anyone? Or like, do I want to play a deck that has, I guess, a lot, like I would say, is a lot more punishing for, even making the smallest of errors, because the strongest players in the world are pretty much able to capitalize on even the smallest little things.
Right.
So kind of trying to figure out exactly what direction I want to go. Back in 2022, I played Fusion Mew and got top 32. That was kind of a deck that could just be really explosive at times. Like when you like got the setup, there was just some decks that really had no answer. And then I played Lugia V-Star last year as well, and that was a deck that kind of did the same thing. So trying to see exactly kind of like what works for me. Yeah, we'll have to figure it out over the next less than 48 hours now. So,
yeah. How are you going to approach these next 48 hours in terms of making this decision both correctly and quickly enough?
Yeah, so I pretty much know how to play most decks in the format, so it's kind of just like finding the deck in the list. Me and my group, like, we're going to be grinding so many games.
Is your plan just literally just play games for like 12 hours tomorrow?
Yeah, pretty much what we're just going to do is, we're just going to sit down, play for 12 hours tomorrow and say, all right, this is the, statistically strongest deck. We're going to grind out pretty much every single matchup.
Okay.
I think that we're all kind of in a situation where we don't exactly know what we're playing yet, which is, really surprising, because actually the past, couple events, we've kind of had like an idea of, okay, like this is our, top deck, and then this is like our second option. Like pretty much since EUIC, we've known exactly like what we're playing like several days before. So this is kind of different, and like it's like the biggest event of the year, so it's kind of like panic mode. It's like we just have to sit down and figure it out. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at the moment.
And it's easier to do that when everyone's together again too, right? So
exactly, yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. So,
exactly. This is DDG teamwork makes the dream work. I was actually talking about this in my interview with Nick, who's behind the camera right now, but he waved. Where basically, like, it's interesting that this is the event where we've had like the most time between like the final tournament and Worlds than we had like last year, right?
Yeah, no, it's been about 2 months.
It's been 2 whole months.
NAIC last year was, I think, the last week of June.
Yeah,
so
it was.
We
It was
only
end
had
of
like a
June,
month
start
and
of
a half.
July. Yeah,
a month
so,
or so.
Despite all that time, it feels like the format has kind of evolved a lot, despite nothing happening in terms of just like a lot of theory crafting and people just change their minds. Reggie Drago being a clear #1 pick to everyone being really overly prepared for it and probably overly targeting it, so it's kind of sketchier to play. Do you feel like a lot of your prep work from like the DDG bootcamp a month ago is still like strong and applicable for your prep work going into like these next 24 hours?
Yeah, so I think that we figured out what the strongest decks were. I think that throughout like all the games that we played, we figured out, okay, like Reggie Drago is like statistically the strongest deck. Sure. However, we're kind of running into that situation of, do we want to play the best deck and like build the best list, or do we want to play a deck like that pretty much counters the best deck. So I think that the majority of our testing definitely, I think, had a lot of value, but it's actually kind of interesting because we've had, so many months. I mean, we've had, 2 months since I think the last major tournament, and it feels like everyone's kind of questioning what to play. So we've had like all this time, because we got the brand new set of Shrouded Fable, and it just pretty much has Kieran, Pheasantipity, then also has like, I think, Dusknoir and Zerosic, but that's pretty much it, right? So like, and like those cards are really, really strong. So it's kind of, I guess, trying to figure out exactly what deck can best like utilize those cards. But I do think that like our testing was, personally like relatively productive. But things have changed, since we got the new set for some of like the limitless tournaments. I feel like the metagame has like really, really changed, pretty quickly. So that's been kind of a culture shock as well.
Yeah.
Because we were actually testing out Neutralization Center. So that was a card that like we thought was like going to be like really, really good, and then we saw someone play the deck online, and we're like, oh no, we can't play that card anymore, because then like all the Regidrago lists started to play things like Temple of Sinnoh, or just like some like type of stadium counter. So we thought that card was super broken, but the online meta has really started to start to progress the meta game. So it's kind of messed everything up over the past couple of weeks. So,
yeah, for sure. I guess the last question then is, you've been to a lot of World Championships, right? How many have you been to?
This is going to be my 4th World Championship.
Your 4th.
Yeah.
What makes this one special or different from previous ones?
Yeah, so I think that I think I have more pressure on me than I pretty much really ever have.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I think like at a couple of World Championships in the past, I didn't take it as seriously because like my very first like World Championships was in 2018, which was my last year in seniors, and I didn't necessarily go to a whole lot of events back then. And then 2022, I actually had a pretty successful year, so that one I feel like I had like a lot of momentum. And then like this past year, I definitely think I grew like quite a bit as a player. And I have a lot to live up to, so I'm gonna try and see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, this is the biggest World Championships like we've ever had. It's the most prestigious one. So like I want to do the best I can at the biggest Worlds ever, because
this might be the biggest one for a long time.
Yeah,
on how they scale things going forward. So
yeah, because with the brand new system, I mean, like Worlds in the future are gonna be pretty small. So this is the big one. So like I want to do well at the big one. Yeah. And the new prize pools as well. Like I think top 32 gets at least $5,000.
That's a lot of money,
which we've never seen that prize pool. So top 32 is 5,000. I think top 16 is like 7 to 10. I forget, but it's like crazy. So I definitely want to do well at this one for sure. Be
sure to cheer on Gabe during the World Championships this weekend. We'll be following his progress and potentially interviewing you mid-round Friday/Saturday/Sunday. Well, I guess not really mid-round Sunday because there's just one round on Sunday, but regardless.
When I'm playing in finals, we'll be.
Yeah, exactly. So be sure to subscribe to the Dead Draw Gaming channel in order to not miss any of that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.